Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Mindshifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeannie. Michael and Jeannie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rachma. Michael is the author of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeannie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeannie Ryce.
To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hey, welcome to Mindshifters Radio. Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. The new doesn't work out, please let me know either in the chat room or send me a text. We're preparing when we are in the Bahamas to see if we can do a show from Skype. So that's what I'm talking through here on the internet. It's amazing how it does.
To a junkyard and come out the other side as a fully operational, polished Rolls Royce. It's like, come on, folks, let's be serious here. You know, it's insane to pretend that we're not something more than, and that there isn't something behind. Now, I agree that the theological monstrosity man has created does not exist, but when you recognize the patterns of what's going on in our world, we know that if you hold a newborn child, the pattern is one of love. And everybody who describes a newborn knows exactly what human life is. And the specialty of the world is to go to work on us to remove our human lives, to delete all sensibilities of humanness and teach us that to live in the real world we have to have weapons and hostility and fear and there's somebody that we're going to have to kill. And the way that we're going to put an end to that is we're going to invite you to be part of the team that changed the world. And that is by engaging in the ancient Aramaic process of forgiveness. Our culture teaches us that forgiveness is about letting somebody else off the hook for the pain that's inside of us. Where in the Aramaic you're taught that forgiveness is about removing the pain that's inside of you. Who ever told you that forgiveness was about removing content from your own mind, your own body, your own energetic system, your own emotions, the things that never belong there, the things that displace human life? We're here to replace those things with human life. And that's our commitment. And in order to engage in that process, of course, you've got to have the technology. If you go to the right-hand side of our website, you'll see a link. And our website, of course, is www.whyagain.com. And on the right-hand side, there's a link that says Download Worksheets. If you click on that link, The first 7 links or so will give you the whole story of forgiveness, how to do it. There are verbal instructions to walk you through the worksheet. You've got a custom set of instructions for every step on the worksheet. Now, one of the games of the non-being mind is, well, this is too complicated. I can't figure this out. I can't do it. And you'll notice that a lot of your life, if that's your system of thinking, a lot of your life is, this is hard and I can't do it. A lot of your life thinking is, this is too complicated. And the complexity I'd offer comes from within the mind. If you take each step in the worksheet, it's as simple as ABC. But the mind brings its complexity and resistance to it. So we're looking to restore human life and to forgive everything inside ourselves that is unlike human life, so that we show up as humans. We show up as this awesome, active presence of love. And so that's what we're here to support you in. If you begin to work with the worksheets, we would be delighted to share that with you and to have you call us for refinements, for support, for assistance in doing the process. That's the reason that we're here. And your question is everybody's question. We had an awesome support group last night with Michael and Margaret, and Michael's just a fabulous teacher, and Michael Coughlin, and we were in Boca Raton last night at Dr. George Love's office, and thank you, Dr. George, for providing that space for the Mind Shifter support group. And there was a young 16-year-old girl there who was courageous enough to step forward and do a worksheet, and started out literally over an issue with a fellow schoolmate in rage and wanting to punch her out. And when she got to the bottom of the worksheet, her insight was, this is silly. And, it's like for a child of 16, instead of reinforcing that rage and finding somebody else to put it on and somebody else, and then, moving up to the age where, into adulthood and still wanting to punch somebody out, it's like crazy time that we have those things in us. And this young lady was so courageous, and there were about a dozen adults there, and she just went for it, and she got it, and she got such a magnificent shift. It was just awesome. And so we appreciate you, Dr. George, Michael, and Margaret. It was fabulous to hang out with you guys last night. And we're here to support every mind, heart, and being on the planet, learning and experiencing the ancient Aramaic technology of forgiveness, how to. And so, Jeannie, Dr. Tim with us, David with us today.
Well,
hello, Jeannie.
David was with us earlier, but he vanished off, and I'm not real sure how much of the show even got recorded, because when I signed back on, your microphone was not on. So we'll see at the end of it how much of that came through, so we apologize to everybody. David is back on. So
okay, well, David.
Not.
Hello, Michael and Jeannie. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We are. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Sitting here with Rick. We've been on a couple of times. I did text the other day, and I know I got Jeannie's text back, and we listened to the show yesterday, and I'm not sure of why we're not showing up as far as being on there. But anyway, just to let you know. So Rick is sitting here, and he may have a few things to share with you about what's going on with him. So I'm going to hand the phone to him.
Cool. We'll be delighted to be there.
Hello.
Hey, Rick. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. And I've been doing my worksheets every day, and there's more material than I can shake a stick at to do them on. But interestingly enough, yesterday Dave invited me to do a new evaluation, personal code evaluation.
Evaluation? Uh-huh.
And he was going over it this morning. It was very, very, very enlightening. And I've got a lot of work to do. So, but I'm very, very grateful for the support that everybody, especially Dave right now, is giving me in this healing work.
Right.
So that's right now. That's pretty much it. I've got a lot of things going around in my head that that I've got to kind of work through. But it's going very well. I'm feeling much more encouraged than I have for a long time.
Awesome. And, with the worksheets that you've been doing, do you have any questions for us on any refinements on the worksheet process? Because if, with the amount of work that you've been doing, if you've refined your questioning ability, then your question is probably the question of at least 100 other people, and we can share that with everyone.
Yeah, primarily I've gotten to the point where most of my worksheets are on me.
Right.
And that kind of, it seems to me, it's removed a step from it when I do it on somebody else. I've gotten to the point where I recognize that I'm the one that's actually triggering it. The
right.
individual's just out there, or that appears to be.
We could keep all of them.
Yeah, but the trigger I carry around within me, and to me it seems like that realization, and I feel comfortable doing it on the worksheet because I know I don't have to sit there and think, oh yeah, it seems natural to me now, and it seems like when I use myself, I'm working more directly. That's my feeling on it.
Right.
And I don't have too many questions, thanks to Julie and Chuck and Magda's helped me too. I've just the worksheets have gotten pretty focused for me.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But I want to work more with mind shifters, and because I did one on peace and aliveness about a week ago, and I went through what I'd written down. I circled ideas, or subjects matter for worksheets, and boy, I'm still working through that one. I've got a lot of material there.
Well, with your personal code evaluation, of course, you've got a mind shifter on each of your challenge areas, so that'll give you a good piece of work to do to move through, each of those issues that are your challenges while you're there. That's awesome.
Yeah, but one thing with this, the evaluation, the personal code evaluation, what really helped you was there's one area in particular, but there's actually I think it's 3 areas that I'm really kind of critical in, and it really helped focus my awareness on it. I knew that I felt within myself that I was in a critical spot some time ago. But I didn't know how or what to do about it.
What to do about it, right. Well, that's the power of that personal code evaluation. Of course, people who come to an intensive, that's the first thing we do is offer them the personal code evaluation and then feedback to show where the areas of greatest blockage are, and then, a custom assignment made up to deal with that particular area. And then as people get ready to leave, we do the evaluation again, and people can tell, exactly how effective their work has been because they'll see the change in their scores. And then we offer the 3 most critical areas to work on as you depart from HeartLand to do the next level of your work. So it is really an awesome tool for us to have and to be able to pinpoint what's happening for people and how to work through those issues. It's fabulous.
Yeah, well, it is. That's a wonderful tool. It's like walking into a cluttered room that you're trying to clean out and you don't know where to begin or where to put the stuff.
Exactly.
And to have some kind of focus and guidance, saying, well, here, just for right now, just pick up this and get it out of here, and then that just being able to do that is so much.
Yes, right. Absolutely. Well, I was saying on the show yesterday that I'm working on a rewrite of Why Is This Happening to Me Again, and when you use the analogy of the cluttered room, that's the state of most people's minds. And I'm thinking about changing the subtitle of my book from, the title being Why Is This Happening to Me Again, the subtitle being And What You Can Do About It. And I'm thinking about changing the subtitle to A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Live In. And when we're in the body's mind with its multi-generational insanities, its rages, its griefs, its fears, its pains, its hatred, its vengeances, it's hell. I mean, it's just a crazy place to live. And to be controlled by it and think that, that our mind is life. And once you recognize that you're not your mind, you're not the contents of your mind, and that you don't have to be controlled by the contents of your mind, then a whole different human life starts to show up and a whole different game gets to be played. So we're delighted that you're there, and I hear the reports on how awesome the work you've done on rebuilding that batch of eternal support has been. So thank you. We appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing it. And we appreciate what y'all are doing. And fabulous to have you there, sir.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful being here. Really, this is. I've lived in really misery for years, and this is the. This is like finding an oasis finally.
Well, I'm glad you're in the oasis, and we're delighted to be providing the space, and we'll look forward to seeing how it all unfolds. Okay. By the way, I was gonna stop and do an errand for you 2 days ago, just while I'm thinking about it, and I got distracted with some projects we were working on here, and I didn't do it. I will do it right after the show to get that errand taken care of that we'd spoken about. My apology. I just realized that we had talked about that a couple of days ago, and I got waylaid. I just lost my focus on that. So my apology, and I'll get it taken care of today.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you.
All right, sir. Blessings. David, do you have any thoughts for us or any input at this moment?
My first thought is, are there any callers waiting? And if not, well, then you can come back to me and we'll have a conversation.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
We do have a caller.
We have a caller. Awesome. Well, let's give a listen to our caller.
Area code 561. You're on the air.
Hi, Jeannie and Michael. It's Margaret in Boca Raton, Florida.
Well, Margaret in Boca Raton, Florida. It's a delight to hear your voice. It was fun to have dinner with you guys last night, and wasn't that young lady's work just awesome? I just was so awed by her willingness to stand in front of a dozen adults and to do a worksheet and to be so vulnerable really just speak up and hang with it and come out the other side. And, you and Michael's support is awesome.
Wow. Well, I thought it was very touching also, and I was really inspired by her, and I wished when I was 16 that someone had introduced me to this work,
Oh, man, wouldn't life have been easier? Oh, my God.
Yes. I'd have made a lot. I would have been able to create a much more happy, comfortable life for sure. So I'm so grateful I found it when I did.
Yeah, and now you've got eternity to create that comfortable, happy, playful human life that everybody deserves. It is our birthright. So we join you in that.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to thank you and Jeannie so much for dropping by and spending some time with our Mind Shifters work group last evening. And we're excited to be at our new location with Dr. Love. And I think it's going to be a great place for us to heal and help others to heal themselves. So we're excited.
Yes, and I got a text this morning from Patricia, and she's located a place in Fort Lauderdale for the Fort Lauderdale support group. So for those who are listening to the show, one of the things we're working on while we're down here in South Florida is supporting support groups. And so we have a meeting, and there's a support group that Nene does on Thursday night and Friday night, or every other Friday night in Coral Springs, and then Michael and Margaret do one in Boca Raton. Patricia is beginning one as a result of our meeting the other night. She's got a location, and she's beginning one in Fort Lauderdale, and Julio is working on one in Miami. So we'll have this coast just lit with the presence of forgiveness, and that's going to be very impactful for the planet, I believe.
I agree. I think that's really exciting news, and I'm so happy that there's a number of us working in Southeast Florida. That's very exciting.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, you guys just did a journey into the hinterlands of the far north, and I understand that you got to bring some shifts around in that journey. Anything to share about that?
Well, yeah. We visited with some of Michael's family up in Virginia, and some of us became triggered, and actually I became triggered in a kind of different way, behind the scenes way, and we were all able to. Mike and I were able to do our work and tap back into love and be able to communicate in a very responsible way. And we ended up having an entirely different outcome. Like Michael was able to tap into love with his family and be able to communicate with them in a way that they could hear him, and they started to understand each other, and it was healing. And for me, I was able to hold a space of love for Mike and be in a comfortable, happy place for myself, and to try to help support Mike in his responsibility, communication with his family. So, I mean, it was just amazing. When we were there nearly a year and a half ago, a lot of triggering happened between everybody, and it turned into chaos. But I was brand new with the tool at the time, and Mike hadn't seen it yet. So it was like I'd just been introduced to the work. So I was back in my hotel room a year and a half ago doing worksheets, trying to be okay, and it helped me a great deal then. And I was in my infancy with the work back then, and now, nearly a year and a half later, this was so powerful. We left Virginia feeling very happy and so grateful for having the ability to have these tools to help ourselves when we're triggered. It was amazing.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, so we'll be at Dr. Love's the The name is Love Chinese Medicine. We'll be there every Wednesday in Boca Raton from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Dr. Love's address is 365 Northeast 5th Street, and it's Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
Awesome. So every Wednesday night in Boca, for anybody who is in the South Florida area, Southeast Florida, that wants to participate and be supported, there are two awesome beings that are creating that support in Boca Raton. Both of them were in an intensive that we did in Palm Coast, and Michael this summer is coming to do teacher training, so I'm sure things will move to the next level as he does that. And we're looking forward to an eternal process of bringing healing to planet Earth with you guys on the team. We appreciate you a lot.
Thank you. We're so grateful to be on this team. Thank you and Jeannie so much for everything you do and all the wonderful support in this great radio show, because this supports me every day, and I love it. Thank you.
Cool. Well, is Michael with us? Is he going to share?
He's calling in. I think he is. He just looked at me and winked, and he said, "I'm going to call in." So I think he's.
You could just hand him the phone.
Oh,
cool.
Oh, I will. Here you go.
Well, came in.
Hey.
Hey there, sir. How do you be?
I'm being great.
That was awesome work last night.
It was amazing. It showed just how far we have to go as adults to get back to our being of childlike knownness. You know, that what she said and how she addressed to the work was utterly amazing. I mean, I felt like a granite blockhead compared to this child with her insight. It was amazing. It truly was.
Yeah, it's such a privilege to take someone that young who literally over something that happened in school wants to punch somebody in the face and has that much anger at 16, and show her a way to diffuse and to remove that. It's just so fabulous and so awesome. And then, of course, to have her mom sitting there and her mom sharing that she was right there with her. She had all the same stuff going on, and as daughter heals, mom heals. And, of course, as mom takes the tools and uses it, daughter will move to a new level, and then you get that synergy going. It's pretty fabulous.
It is, and you talk often about holding a space of love and it changing. In the big picture, you talk about the entire world shifting, and I always could comprehend the intimate circle changing, but I couldn't comprehend it working to the next level till I experienced it when I went up to Virginia. It was such an amazing experience that Pegs was talking about, where we went up there. My daughter was going through a lot of different things. It was very stressful for her, and I was aware of that. And she walked out on us twice at 2 different meals and made her own illusion of what was going on. And the old me would have probably been hurt and sulking, and I just did some worksheets and I could see things differently. And so she calls me up, and here I am. I got a little more than a year of work behind me, and I'm trying to teach the work. I've been to intensive, and she came up, and she hit every button on every shot, and I completely was triggered. And so that point of the communication didn't go very well. And then we got back together, and we went for a walk, and I asked her, I said, "Hey, listen, can we sit down and talk?" And she says, "Okay." And I said, and I opened it up with, and I tried very hard to keep it with the responsible communication. And I said, "This is just about me." My daughter's 22, for those who are listening, and I don't know, maybe you have a problem with your children or you've been removed from them as a young adult. I had to, due to circumstances, I chose to leave my ex-wife when my children were 17 and 15. I tried to make it until they were both 18 and in college. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. I thought they would come with me. It didn't quite work out that way. So me and my daughters, who were very, very close, had a rift in our relationship. I've been establishing through this work and being able to listen more and be there for them in a different way. Establish a phone relationship with my oldest. And when I got there, it was very painful for her, to see me, and she said it was a different person. But I didn't know any of this. None of this came out until I sat down there, and I said to her, listen, I just want to talk about me. You have nothing to do with this. This isn't yours to own. This isn't yours to pick up. This is just me. And I walked her through what I discovered through this work about myself, through honesty and openness. And I told her the lows of my life, from a child up to being married and losing them. And I didn't hide anything. I mean, I told about the pain and the fear and the insecurities and how I love to love, how it gives me energy, and I was honest about everything. And there was literally, I could feel a click in the lock, and my daughter told me things that I had never heard from her in my life. She was open and honest and told me about some of her pains. And the most amazing thing is the next day that we went out with her, the entire dynamics of it had shifted. It was like we were in a whole new level of a relationship. And I told her when the last day I saw her, the day before I left her, because we went to see her boyfriend because he was graduating the next week. We were talking, and I said, honey, this is the first time that I'm leaving you, and I am truly experiencing sorrow. I'm going to miss just being with you. And one of the things that triggered her is I had given her the teachers for children's guide. What's the name of that again? Julie's book. Healing Children, Loving Children. Exactly. And when I gave it to her, she was like, you don't know me, why would you give me this? But after that talk, after sitting down with her and telling her about me and about just being responsible and loving and holding a space of love for her, no matter what she said, no matter how it came out. And it was scary because I did kind of want to go up there and to be real and to be who I truly am and not play the roles that I have played. And one of the things that I owned up for, and I told her that she was in a horrible prison, and I myself had put some of those bars there. I had given her some of those blocks to build the building, and I had laid some of those landmines there because of my energy and my father's energy and my mother's energy and the generations before me. And I said, it would make sense that as your father, that I love you, that if I found something that helped me relieve that I would lay these down before you. And then you could choose to pick them up or not. And I was completely blown away with some of the things that she opened up about and some of the things that she tormented about. And then when she asked me if I could teach her this work, I was floored. I was utterly floored. So whether
it's
she
an awesome tip.
It is, and you can, Michael, you can literally feel the change. You could feel the lightness and her step changed, and the way she carried herself. Everything shifted. And whether she
always nice up, when human life shows up, isn't it?
It is. It is. And just to get a glimpse of that, and trust me, I've been lied about in court. I have been, hated and yelled at. So if anybody's out there that's experiencing problems with their family, either with their parents or with their children, I'm telling you, the bottom line is we love each other. We just let the world get in our heads, and we get in our heads, and we forget that simple fact that I love my child, I love my parent, and whatever they are and whatever they can offer, that's good. The whole goal thing, the goal stress thing comes directly to play in that relationship above any other for me. I set these goals for them that they can't possibly achieve, And the only thing I get is, see, I told you, they don't love me. And this work has completely eliminated that, and I'm able to be there in a space of love for them, whatever they can do. And to see her make this change and hopefully begin to look into this work, it's phenomenal.
Now, maybe for those who haven't been listening to the show, who are saying, yeah, well, you're just that kind of guy, I guess. Maybe you could share just a little bit of your history so that those who might not have listened to some of the earlier shows that you've been on knows where you're coming from, a year and a half ago when you first ran into this work?
When a year and a half ago, when I first met Michael, I saw this guy coming up to me, and I said, hey, how you doing? I didn't really care. It was just one of those things. And he said, I'm blessed and highly favored. I turned to Pegs, and I was like, who's this person? Who does he think he is? And then the first actual meeting I walked to with Michael, I walked out. I literally walked out. I stormed out of the meeting. But I couldn't leave because Pegs wouldn't leave, and I was blocked in the garage. I couldn't leave for the workshop. About myself, I've been abused, from my mom when I was younger, but I was placed in foster homes and was in an abusive relationship with my mom. That's okay. I've fixed. I'm over that, but it was very difficult. And one of the first things I learned to deal with the situation was anger. Anger became my first drug of choice. So at 17 years old, I joined the military, and I served for 26 years. And I trained men and later on women of various forces, basically how to take a human life, literally, to make them stop breathing. And I had done that for a long time, and I had a lot of blood on my hands when I came to the work. So I was not a touchy-feely, loving guy. I was everything opposite from that. I was the kind of guy that would, when I was trying to get through this, would walk the crack neighborhoods at late in the night, early in the morning, and not to get crack because I never did it, but to find somebody who would fight me. I was a very violent and tortured person. Violence was everything for me. Anger was my identity, and to be able to do this work has shifted me to a point where I don't have to be that. I don't have to hold on to that. I'm aware of it, and I know that there's things that I need to continue doing. I have a list of about 22 now. I started at one, but I have a list of 22 that are my 77 times worksheets that I regularly go through and redo. So the awareness of this work has been a gift, and the gift is knowledge, and what I choose to do with that knowledge determines how effective this program is for me. If I acknowledge the things that are wrong with me and don't have the courage to dive into them and to fix them, then they won't get fixed. They have to be fixed by me and by the universe, by Ruka Takusha, by whatever term that you hold to be or the force that works around you. So Michael has a very valid point when he asked me to explain my past. I was not this soft guy who loved everything and everybody, and I wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I was. It was part of me, but that part had been hidden, and it had done lots of fingerprints, a lot of them my own, some of them the government's, some of them other places, but it had allowed me to retune into what I don't know if what I could be or what I was or a combination of both. But I looked at it as this was my birthright, this is what I am if I just choose to be that. And my life and my relationships have utterly changed on all levels, most especially the relationship with myself and the relationship with my significant others. And it's been an amazing process. So if you're listening to the show and you're thinking, no, I can't do that, you can. You can. I am the prodigal son, and if I can return, anybody can. Anybody can.
Michael, if you think about the first time you held your daughter,
your firstborn daughter, your second daughter. If you were to tap into her energy and the memory of holding her, what would be your descriptor for her?
First time I held when I first held my oldest, there was some, I'm going to be honest, there was some fear in me, but that wasn't what I felt from her. What I felt from her was completion. I felt love. I felt as if I was where I was supposed to be. I felt home. When I looked at her, all the thing I radiated from her was love, peaceful, angelica. I mean, it was a miracle. I was holding a miracle, a gift to me from the universe. I mean, a gift for me from the universe. And over the years, I did lose sight of that. I did. I felt a burden. I was like, now I know why alligators eat their young. I mean, there were struggles. Yeah. But doing this work, I've been able to reconnect to that beauty, that love, that complete. My heart surrendered to both of them. As soon as I saw their faces for the first moment of my life, they owned me. They owned my heart. And there was a place that no other human being will ever be able to take. And unfortunately, some of the ways that they were raised, they don't understand that they both own their own individual spot. And they don't understand, they didn't understand all of that. And now that I'm in a place where I hope that I'll be able to teach them that. I hope I can get them back to understanding that they are exactly what I felt the first moment I saw them.
And isn't it awesome? Isn't it awesome that we get to teach what we most need to learn? Because that's the truth about you, too. You came into the world. There's Michael. What an awesome miracle. And that's the truth about every one of us. And then the world comes in and our genetics get pounded into shape where we buy into the insanity of our family systems and of our culture. And, the forgiveness work is simply removing that, so the only thing left is that awesome creature that you are. That's what we're here to support.
Yeah, it's you say forgiveness, and unfortunately a lot of people, the forgiveness work, and they're trained for forgiveness to mean something to them. For me, honestly, Michael, this work has been freedom work. It really has. Yes, I've learned the true meaning of forgiveness. I've learned the skills to be able to forgive myself, to go inside and remove the corrupt data files that make up my reality, make up my hallucination, and learn to see the truth around me. But it set me free to do these things. It let me shake off the armor that I built plate by plate, piece by piece, the walls that I made, the bars that I made, the trenches. It allowed me to see my birthright. It allowed me to be free of the things of man and to be a loving being, not to be a non-being. It set me free of being a non-being and gave me the freedom to experience being a human being and what that truly meant.
And so if you go back and hear the words of the man who originated this work, I wish I'd been bright enough to figure it out, but I wasn't. You hear him saying, know the truth and the truth will set you free. Know the truth of who we are. And you're right, it is freedom work. It's getting free from the internal prison. I think when you use that analogy with your daughter, that you had lived in a prison and that she was in a prison. And, of course, I forget who it was that said it. I think it was one of the founding fathers that said the most difficult prison to break out of is the one you don't know you're in. Mm-hmm. And once you recognize you're in one, then you can start to take down the walls and experience human life as it's designed to be experienced.
It is. And not only is it designed to be experienced, it's designed to be experienced and appreciated and learned from and comfortable. Too many of us have gone through life to take experiences like a kick in the teeth. And that is not what this is about. You'll experience things in a whole new level, a whole new dimension. You truly will.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the work you're doing with people, the support you are. The work you did last night with that young lady was absolutely awesome. And we are totally on your team and appreciate you being on ours and taking the work as far afield as the planet's ready to have it and creating that critical mass that brings about the shift of the ages. We're here to do it. It's time for that to happen this time around.
Well, we're doing our part. As long as there's ears to hear and eyes to see, we'll be there.
Awesome. Fabulous.
We love you.
All right. Love you too, my brother. And
all right.
Margaret, thanks for the call in, and we'll look forward to seeing your sweet faces again while we're still here in South Florida.
Absolutely. All love.
Blessing. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey,
Doesn't get any better than this.
Our call-in number is 646-200-4169. Press 1, and that puts you in the queue to talk to Michael. And Dr. Gina's now with us.
Oh, cool. Well, let's say hello to Dr. Jim and see how that young man is being today.
I'm doing quite well, thank you. That was very inspiring, listening to Michael, and it's a show I will be recommending to many people to listen to, because there are a lot of people out there who will say, oh, yeah, maybe he could do it, or oh, yeah, maybe Dr. Tim could do it, but I could never do it. Well, thank you to Michael for his courage, number one, to look at his own stuff and pick up the tools to do this work, and number two, to be on the radio and share that with people. That's beyond words. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So, I'm doing well here in Illinois. I've done some work on the mind shifter you gave me on Monday, and some of the worksheets that were spawned from that, and been going through a little healing crisis with my back, which I know full well is the emotional release, because if it starts on the left side and then the next day it's on the right side, it's moving around, it's energy moving. So that's going well, and staying blessedly busy. And I heard you had a very nice meeting on Tuesday night with potential Mindshifter group leaders, and that's encouraging. And
yeah, we did. It was actually very good, and at least 2 more support groups coming out of that meeting, and so it's really solidifying the work in a whole new way here in South Florida. So it is awesome to get to do. And we hold the space for your back, clearing out whatever that energy is, and being free from whatever the realities are that are stimulated into activity in life, and the opportunities to move through them are pretty amazing sometimes.
Yep, very intense, very productive. This work is both intense and productive. So.
Yes. And how'd the support group go?
It was beautiful. It was, I think we had 7 people there plus me, and we did the second half of the newest version of Codependence to Interdependence that I own, which is, I think he recorded it in either 2009 or 2010.
Right.
And people were amazed again at what they heard, even though they've seen this before. And then we had a person volunteer to do a worksheet and got a beautiful insight when she asked for help to see how she was creating her own pain. She got an image of herself as a young child being yelled at by her mother because she was playing with a friend, and she wanted to be the teacher when they were playing school, and her mother came down and yelled at her and told her that she doesn't get to do what she wants to do, and her needs are not important. She had this visual image of getting yelled at about how her needs aren't important, and she shouldn't do what she wants to do or take things for herself. And that was very useful in this worksheet because she was doing a worksheet on how she's continually getting into relationships where people take advantage of her. And she's doing a worksheet about how she can stop letting people take advantage of her or put herself in a situation where she's not standing up for herself, not being assertive. So it was very powerful. And the group had a lot of good comments that were feeding off of that. As often happens in these groups, there's so much love and support for looking at your stuff and facing the difficult energies that you've stored in yourself, that's the real value, the real muscle of these groups, is that you're surrounded by people that are acknowledging that we're all the same, and they're just there to love and support you and letting go of anything that's not the absolute truth about yourself. So it was very, very nice.
Cool. Well, we would offer that perhaps giving her a mind shifter to work with, something along the lines of my relationships always nurture and support me, and we mutually serve each other.
Well, we're 2 steps ahead of you. We gave her a mind shifter that night. It didn't have the last phrase that you put in there, but it had a nice tone about how the universe and all the people in it are there to support her and help her meet her needs. And then we directed her to the mind shifter list on your website, and so yeah, it was a very productive group. We were talking about the codependence interdependence tool, the worksheet from last week, and then we had the reality management worksheet process going, and then we talked about how she could use a mind shifter to further that. So very, very productive.
Awesome, powerful. Well, let's check with Jeannie and see if we have any other callers or anything happening in the chat room.
No, nobody else has their hand up. We're down to 5 minutes.
Well, let's check in with David and see what David has to share.
Just taking in what it is that's going on and watching things evolve. It's great that Rick is so willing to do his work, as he was talking about earlier. My support and my definition of support is, one, in order to be supported, one has to be supportable. And Rick is exemplifying that by doing his work and making a commitment. And he was talking about a commitment earlier that he got it the other day, that, commitment means I have to do something. Without commitment, nothing happens. And with commitment, everything is possible. And so with having that, and, listening to Tim with the group that's going on there and his commitment to hold that group and to hold that space, as well as other people around the country and around the world that are doing their work. There's Marie in Florida, and there's Nene, and just to mention a couple of people that they committed to doing this work. As with everything, through the commitment, then everything starts to open up and to make sense. Without it, then it's going to stay the same. So that's where I'm at today.
Awesome. Well, we are in South Florida right now for the next week and a half, and we'll be doing a couple of other support groups while we're here. And then we'll be heading to actually the Bahamas for 2 weeks to continue writing and editing on 4 different books that we published to get the Rossaby's book ready and out, the new Kabor's manuscript, the Enlightenment book, and Healing Children, Loving Children. We're working on a republication of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? So we've got lots on our plate, and we had this blessing of Jeannie's dad has a timeshare, and the folks who own the timeshare did some kind of wrinkle in it. So as a makeup, they offered him a certificate for a free timeshare. And the free timeshares they offered, however, were middle of upper Michigan, in the middle of November, or up in Maine in January or what have you. And he was about to lose it because he wasn't interested in doing that, and Mom won't fly or get on a boat, so they had this space in the Bahamas, and he said, well, we're going to lose it. Why don't you use it? So we're going to be off to there, and hopefully we'll get the Skype worked out. And then when we get back, actually from there, on the 10th of June, we'll begin a 7-day series of workshops. The flyer is on the website. We'll start a 7-day series of workshops in Jupiter, Florida, at the Unity Church. And then, a lot of Unity's kicking in this year. We'll be heading out of there, and then the week after Father's Day, we'll be at Unity in Wilmington. I should be doing a 3-day series there. And we're looking at a stop in Birmingham before we get back to HeartLand. And there'll be the starting point of the HeartLand workshops will be a food, fun, forgiveness, and work project. It's kind of an economy program at HeartLand. It'll be a 10-day. Ari's got some awesome new recipes he tells us, both cooked and raw. And so you'll get a chance to be in the kitchen with this walking food encyclopedia called Ari. And he'll be teaching us some new tricks with food. And then we'll be doing some work projects on the property. It'll be kind of a work week sort of thing where we get the property ready for our intensives. And we'll be doing evening classes, and we'll do at least 2 mind shifters and still point breathing classes in that 10 days. So that'll be one program we'll be doing at HeartLand. It'll start on the 12th of July. The flyer, again, is on the website. And the cost of that 10 days for everything, food, accommodations, workshop materials, is $750. So you can come and play for 10 days, learn the work, help to support the space, and doing some work projects to get the space in shape for the intensives. And then we'll actually take a day off. And the next day we'll begin a 9-day Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And the last day of that 9-day Why Is This Happening to Me Again, we'll finish in the morning. And in the evening, we'll move right into teacher's training. So that'll be another 9-day intensive. And anybody who's already done teacher's training will be able to participate in that. So we're delighted to have you with us. And we hold the space that you have the best year yet of your eternal life. We appreciate you. Hold you in a blessing. Bring a stranger to the show tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.